I'm sorry, I just can't get into this.
Why not? It's great.
It's boring. I don't understand why people like this so much.
You know, I'll never understand your taste in gaming. Everything I try to show you, you just turn it down.
Excuse me? No, I don't.
Oh yeah? Name the final boss in Kirby's Dream Course.
Okay, I don't know.
Instead, you want to play SpongeBob games and not the good ones.
Oh, come on. It's my guilty pleasure.
It's a shitty one.
All right, Hotshot, what's your guilty pleasure?
Hands down, Paper Mario Sticker Star. Sticker Star. Sticker Star. Sticker Star. Sticker Star. Sticker Star. Oh, what happened? Did I strike a near...
Sticker stars forbidden in this house, bitch. People have guilty pleasures pretty much over everything. Movies, TV shows, music. And of course, video games. A lot of people have guilty pleasures over certain video games either because of nostalgia, or they just find the game good in their book. I used to be friends with someone who loved Sonic 06. To this day, I can't understand why, but once I reveal my list to you guys, you're going to be asking me the same question. These are my top 10 video game guilty pleasures. Number 10. Earthbound Beginnings / Mother 1. The Mother series will always be a favorite of mine, and Mother 1 is no exception. I loved this game growing up, and I still find myself going back to it every year. I love the story, the dialogue, the graphics, the music, and the characters. Yeah, it's difficult, and the final area was not playtested. A lot of the times, I would make stupid mistakes when it would come to fighting certain enemies. This game, you just need to strategize what you want to happen on your turn wisely. Yes, I still get game overs when I play this game, and it is pretty punishing what happens when you get a game over, but I find myself continuing every time. A lot of people also get frustrated because whenever you get a new party member, you have to spend several minutes or hours to grind so they reach the same level as you. While that can be annoying, it does help in the long run, because you are gaining so many level ups with not only your new party member, but your old party member, and also you're gaining money too, so you can pretty much buy the best armor in the game, and you'll be set for the rest of the game. I've played this game many times, even more than Mother 3, and I don't get tired of it. If you are looking for a more fair version of this game, I would check out Mother 25th Anniversary Hack, which fixes all of the game's issues that most people did not like. Or wait for Mother Encore to come out, which looks freaking amazing. Number 9. Rayman Rabbids console version. Rayman has always been in my heart since childhood. The very first Rayman game was one of my first video games I ever played, along with Spyro the Dragon and Frogger. I grew up playing all 3 Rayman games, and I love them all. Even though I haven't beaten the first one yet, and no redemption doesn't count, love the game by the way. I actually picked up the DS version of Rayman Rabbids first, and to me, that's the best version out of all of them. Originally, this game was supposed to be a 3D platformer, but it got made into a minigame collection like Mario Party without the board. I actually grew up playing the Wii version. It wasn't until I got Steam that I realized there was a PC version and even an Xbox 360 version. Me personally, I enjoy the PC version the best. Back when I was at my youth, I loved the Wii version of this game, but now that I'm an adult, I appreciate the PC version a lot more because the motion controls on the Wii were pretty bad. The minigames are quite fun in my opinion. I love the shooter games and the ones where you make Rayman dance to the beat. I find myself playing story mode the most, and to me that's where the game shines. The ending of story mode though messed me up big time, and it was a huge disappointment. This may not be the next 3D Rayman game we all wanted, but I consider it a welcome addition to one of my favorite Rayman games. The GBA version sucks ass though, don't play that one. Number 8. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Oh, so it's okay for you to like the worst Mario and Luigi game, but it's not okay for me to like Sticker Star.
Well, folks, I guess you could say I'm in a real paper jam. I don't know why this game gets so much hate. I get that the Mario and Luigi series was known for having great character design when it came to enemies and interesting stories. However, Paper Jam had none of that and stuck with normal Mario enemies from any generic Mario game. I personally don't have a problem with that. I also don't have a problem with the craft battles either, or the Toad missions. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure almost all Mario RPG games have mini-games in them that you have to do in order to progress. So why come when Paper Jam does it, it gets hated on? Sure, the minigames in Paper Jam are not as good as the other minigames, except this one, but I still find myself having a great time. I enjoyed the story too. I'm all for story-rich games like Partners of Time and Super Paper Mario, but this one felt like an action comedy. Almost every funny moment had me laughing, especially the parts with Bowser and Paper Bowser. One thing I will say though, is that I found this Mario and Luigi game to be the hardest. I think it's because you control 3 characters now, and it's hard to figure out what attack is going to hit who. I found myself getting a lot of game overs in this game, and I know I did not pull some Chaka Conroy BS selecting HB every level up. The music in this game is incredible as well. I remember my first time playing, I was on FaceTime with my girlfriend at the time, and when I heard the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga battle theme, I freaked out. I was a bit sad that the battle theme changed, but I still enjoyed the battle theme anyway. Even the boss theme I enjoyed. I don't consider this the worst Mario and Luigi game at all. That title can go to Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Journey, but we'll talk about that another time. Number 7. Mario Party 9 and 10. Yes, I know these are 2 games, but hear me out. They are very similar gameplay-wise. A lot of people hated the car mechanic, and I can see why. It was annoying because you can literally go through the whole board without ever playing a minigame. Also, there wasn't any fun events that would happen on the board, like Chance Time for example. So why do I like this game? Well, for one thing, I really enjoy the minigames a lot. I think both games have an amazing minigame collection, and I was really happy that some of them were brought back into Mario Party Superstars. Also, these 2 were the only Mario Party games I would play with my family. The thing with these games is where you can still win even if you lose every minigame. I would always dominate the minigames whenever I would play with my family, and it would turn them off from ever playing with me. However, these games, everybody has a chance of winning. Anything that could help me bond closer with my family is a good game in my book. Number 6, The Legend of Spyro series. I'm just gonna say it, I freaking love these games. While they are nowhere near as good as the first 3 Spyro games, these games were very story-rich, and it's why I love them. You find out how Spyro was born and he was raised by dragonflies, and it's how he meets Sparks. Spyro then goes on a journey to find his real home to meet up with Ignitus. Spyro learns about his home and the war the dragons went through. Later he rescues the other dragon elders and they teach him a new breath ability. At the end of the game, Spyro faces off against Cinder, who was controlled by the Dark Master Malefor, which is foreshadowed in later Legend of Spyro games. If you're not a fan of the gameplay part, I would highly recommend watching a video that shows the cutscenes of this series, because they really do tell a good story. My favorite of the bunch would have to be Eternal Night. I can't explain why I love this one a lot, it was just the one that I enjoyed the most. Games that are very story-rich keep me going, because I want to know what happens next. Yes, this makes the cute and adorable Spyro the Dragon that we all know and love, all dark, but most games did that and we still love them. Just look at Kirby, the dude literally fights demigods, and we still enjoy playing those games. Or look at Super Paper Mario, probably the darkest Nintendo game in my opinion, and people still love it. So what's wrong with Spyro doing the same thing? I don't know. Number 5. SpongeBob SquarePants, Truth or Square. I was always a fan of Battle for Bikini Bottom and the movie game growing up, and I still find myself enjoying those games to this day, especially Rehydrated. Truth or Square is also part of that category. Now, I know, the DS version is considered the best version, but I never played that one yet. This game I'm heavily nostalgic for because I enjoyed playing levels based on the episodes of the show. Sure, this game might not have had a lot of budget because they literally used the same music from Battle for Bikini Bottom and the movie game as well. However, it didn't stop me from having a good time. I do like the levels and I like the fact that they're linear. Open world games I tend to be bad at, which is why I enjoyed the movie game a little bit more than Battle for Bikini Bottom. I want to play a game and not have to look up a walkthrough. With this game, I don't have to do that. Sure, it's not as fun as Battle for Bikini Bottom in the movie game, but I still enjoyed it. Something about beating up these robots is so satisfying. It's even more fun when you get the power-ups and you can bash them all at once. One of my biggest complaints about this game is that whenever you get the buff SpongeBob power-up, the music changes no matter what. Don't get me wrong, I love the song that plays. It's one of my favorite songs on the show, and I find myself listening to it when I'm driving, and I'm in a hurry to get to somewhere, because I'm goofy like that. However, when you grab a power-up during a boss fight, it stops the boss fight's music and plays the buff SpongeBob power-up theme. I feel like it kind of ruins the mood when it comes to certain boss fights. It even does it for the final boss, which sucks, and I don't know why they do that. That's really my only complaint with this game, but overall, I had a great time playing it once again. You can also play the whole game on the PSP. The PSP version has some levels that are not in the console version, like Downtown Bikini Bottom and the Krusty Krab. It also doesn't play the power-up themes, but the music in the PSP version is a bit weird because they don't play the whole song in certain levels. However, it's still a good time to play SpongeBob Truth or Square on the go. Number 4. SpongeBob SquarePants, Creature from the Krusty Krab. Like Truth or Square, this is another game I'm nostalgic for. As a kid, I never understood the story, but now as an adult, it's pretty weird and kind of dark if you think about it. The game is about dreams. You play as SpongeBob, Patrick, and Plankton, and you explore their dreams. SpongeBob is about racing, exploring an elastic bullworm, and flying a plane. Patrick is a superhero named Starfish Man, and you ride around in space and fight giant plankton, which is pretty epic. When you play as Plankton, you get chased by a giant Krabby Patty, and then you become giant yourself and smash a bunch of stuff. What I like about the game is that all the dreams come together as one. I enjoy the gameplay a lot, especially the plane and rocket levels. I also enjoy the combat system as well, but it's not as good as Battle for Bikini Bottom. With that game, I found it more satisfying to kill the robots. Also, the bubble wand was way cooler than SpongeBob just using his arms. I also like whenever you play as Patrick, every time you attack, he changes his clothes. It doesn't really serve a purpose, but it's pretty cool. This is a game I find myself going back to every year, and it's always a good time for me. If you're thinking about playing this version, do yourself a favor.
Do not play the Wii version.
Number 3, Dragon Ball GT Final Bout. Alright, I know what you're thinking.
What the hell, Brandon? Why do you like this trash?
Let me explain. Yes, I know this game is bad. Yes, I know the character selection is pretty weird. Yes, I know the controls are bad. And the voice acting is terrible.
So, let's see how strong you are!
And they probably spent the entire budget on the intro and 2 cents on the actual gameplay. But hear me out. As a solo fighting game playing by yourself, I agree, it's bad. However, with the right friends, it's quite fun. I remember my first year of college, a classmate of mine had a gaming laptop, and he had a Dragon Ball GT Final Bout ROM with a PS1 emulator. He wanted to show me how bad the game was, and I never even heard about it at the time. We would play it, and while I thought it was a bad fighting game, I still had a good time playing with my friend. We would just be making fun of how bad the game was, and we would be talking about the Dragon Ball series as a whole while playing. Would I ever play this game alone?
Fuck no!
This game is only good for playing with friends who love Dragon Ball. Number 2, Pokemon Channel. I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. When I was a kid, I played the death out of this game. I always loved watching Pichu Bros and other channels with Pikachu. I loved decorating the room, going outside with Pikachu, answering Pokemon questions, and other fun stuff. Even today, I enjoy playing this game. This is the kind of game you would play after a long day at work or school, and it's just a real stress reliever. Games that have me pull my hair out or throw the controller on the ground isn't really good for stress relieving. That's why this game is a good game in my book. And finally, number 1, my most guilty pleasure game I enjoy playing to this day is Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. What is considered to be the worst Spyro game is number 1 on my guilty pleasure list. I'm sorry, but I love this game a lot. Okay, it's not as good as the first 3 Spyro games, but it still has that Spyro charm to me. While the story is pretty crappy with Ripto coming back from the second game
after he was inseminated by lava,
the gameplay to me is still pretty fun. Yeah, there are less worlds, only 1 hub world, and 1 boss fight, but I can't explain why. I still found myself having a great time with this one. I mean, I think the levels are pretty neat. The Dragonfly Dojo, Crop Circle Country, Luau Island, Cloud 9, Monkey Monastery, Honey Marsh, Thieves' Den, and Jurassic Jungle are all areas I really enjoyed exploring. I know one of the biggest things people complain about in this game is how the frame rate chucks like crazy, and at some points, the load times are incredibly long.
Is the game soft locked?
Yeah, I agree, that can get annoying. However, if you don't have a problem with emulation, this game runs pretty fine on Dolphin Emulator, with faster load times and perfect frame rate. My favorite thing about this game is easily the music. Stuart Copeland, who worked on the original trilogy of the series, worked on this soundtrack as well. I find myself listening to this soundtrack more than any of the Spyro games. Some of my favorites have to be Dragonfly Dojo, Luau Island, Bonsai Speedway, Dojo Target Practice, and Platform Pearl. Originally, this game was going to have a totally different story with a lot more levels. The story would have involved Nasty Nork, the main antagonist of the first Spyro game, and Ripto teaming up and capturing the Dragonflies themselves. That would have made for a better story. But alas, the game ended up being rushed. Rushed or not, I still love this game. The worst Spyro game in my opinion is this one. I hate it so much, and I want it to die in fire. In conclusion, there are some people out there who love video games that a lot of people don't like, or don't like a game that a lot of people do like. For example, I don't like Fortnite. I don't like the Legend of Zelda series. I don't like Call of Duty. In fact, I hate Call of Duty. People around the world are going to have different tastes in things. Some people are going to like Coke, some people are going to like Pepsi. If you surround yourself with like-minded people, that's great. However, try thinking of the benefits when you have people in your life that don't think like you do. At the end of the day, our interests make us who we are as humans. As long as we respect each other's opinions on certain topics, the world can be a better place. I really hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 guilty pleasures list when it comes to video games. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and playing these games once again really reminded me how much I love them. If you have a guilty pleasures list of your own, feel free to leave a comment below and tell me your list. I'd love to hear about them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time... I wonder who that could be. Hi, can I...
Do you want to watch One Piece?
Yes.
Okay.